Chafing Armor. Yeah, but that was a bit much. Chafing Armor Podcast, episode Blabbity Blue. Blabbity Blabbity Blue. Chafing Armor Podcast, episode 77. Get some tail. I wanted to see if that would make you laugh or not. There we go.
How was that?
Yeah, very good, very good. Welcome back to the Chafing Armor Podcast. I'm your host and behosed Dungeon Master because I'm in a Shakespeare play, if you can believe that. The Merry Wives of Windsor. I'm going to be playing Dr. Caius with my outrageous French accent.
Fantastic.
But also with me is a fellow thespian, James. James, tell us who you'll be playing, and then also tell us who you played in the most recent play you were in.
Oh, well, hootaloo, everybody. I'm playing Penton Chalice, the spell scale sorcerer who is going through some changes.
Mm-hmm.
What was my... Well, I just got cast into a show. I'm going to be playing Mr. Mushnick in a production of Little Shop of Horrors not too long from now.
Very cool. But also, what was the last role you played? Because I enjoyed the photos from that.
Oh, right. Remind me. I'm drawing a blank.
Well, didn't you play Mr. Adams?
Oh, right, that. Right, that's not. It seems like an age ago. Yes, I was for a whole weekend Gomez Adams in production of The Addams Family, which was awesome, and I'd like to do like a whole production run of it. That would be nice instead of just 2 days worth.
Well, I think you looked absolutely awesome in that role.
It was a lot of fun.
So let's hop on in here. When we last left Penton, some things have happened. A air elemental shaped like a dragon shot a whole bunch of energy into your face.
Yeah.
After that happened, 2 great cuts rent down your back. Your hand became reptilian and dragonish. And some other changes were wrought upon you. And then just then, a big old underground monster came popping up. If you recall what that monster was by any chance?
Well, oh yes, it was the illithid thing.
Yes. I believe the Chul.
The Chulithid.
Chulith, and you called it a Chulithid, which it actually had. The Illithids call it something else, but I like that so much that we called it a Chulithid after that.
Excellent.
Now, the other adventurers were able to defeat the Chulithid, but early on in combat, it gave Penton a big old smack and knocked you unconscious. You found yourself in a haze of pain and confusion until you wake up in a cell. And I do not mean that in the prison sense of the word, but in the monk sense of the word. You wake up in a very bare, spare room, a rough cot you're laying on. There is a small table in the corner with a pitcher with water, but there is actually a mirror over there.
Oh,
what would you like to do?
Dread to think. So it's more of a hostel than a kind of thing.
Yes, very, very plain.
All right. Kind of check myself before I wreck myself and see if I'm like whole, if I got any holes rendered in me or anything like that I don't know about. Just give myself a once over, and then I'm gonna trot over to the mirror and see what kind of condition I'm in.
So you're bracing yourself, but before you can even get to the mirror, you swing yourself up and something thud on the floor. And you realize, at first, you don't realize what it is, and you realize you have a tail.
Snake!
Exactly. For a moment, you think there's some, like a beholder is sneaking up from behind you, or a roper is swinging down from the top. But no, you have a tail that is blue, like your scales, but is a much darker, coarser, more reptilian, much like your forearm is.
Interesting.
Yes, and it takes you a few little swings The funny thing though is, while this is extremely unsettling, you actually find that your balance is better
Hmm.
right now. Perhaps something to the tune of, I don't know, say a +4 to jump, swim, or balance. Just
Really?
yes. Though after there's a little bit of whoa, new center of gravity. You take a look in the mirror and you are not pleased by what you see. You can still feel those 2 cuts on your back. They have healed somewhat. You have no hit point loss at this time. But your right forearm is entirely reptilian. It looks like a blue-tinged dragonborn's arm. Your hands are clawed on the right hand. But the biggest thing you notice is straight up two-faced. The left side of your face is dragonish.
Oh.
It is. You have a snout that it's less long and extended than a true dragonborn, but it extends out and then does a very odd. It is very unpleasant to look at because you have a misshapen look to your face. One eye is larger than the other. It doesn't actually affect your vision. You'd think it would. And your entire left side of your face, and you can feel it going down maybe to the upper part of your shoulder, is very dragonish.
This is distressing.
Yes.
I'm not pretty.
You are currently not pretty. I'm not even going to tell you what your current minus to your charisma is, but there is one. We'll get to that later. What would you like to do now?
Well, and I kind of I want to kind of turn my back just to kind of see if I can see my back at all, because I know there was pain and such, but I really didn't know what was going on back there. So I kind of like to see if I can see anything.
The only thing you can see, and certainly you can kind of pull down your robe easily enough, there are 2 great rents, like someone took a big claw and just ran it down your shoulder blades on opposite sides, but that's all you see. Are these big cuts, and they have healed, but they are absolutely still there.
Okay. Well, I guess that's the least of my worries right now. I kind of want to feel out this tail thing. I mean, I can move it around at will, and kind of
just give me a quick dexterity roll.
Okay.
Just a quick old dexterity roll.
Let me grab something to do with that. That's a 10.
10. So you try to see if you can control this tail. You find that it's kind of moving on its own, like kind of swaying a little bit.
Sure.
And with a 10 roll, you come around and it cracks you in the head because you're trying to lift it up, and what you realize is it's really, really sensitive to your commands. And it's a little bit like your arm being asleep, that you just turned it and it just went whack and cracked you in your face. And you are so glad nobody else saw that.
Yeah.
To which you hear laughter coming from the doorway.
I turn suddenly and look to see where the laughter has come from.
You turn and look, and you do not see, as the audience might think, one of our fellow adventurers. You do not see a lizard woman, as our listeners might think. You see someone you have not seen for a few years now. You see a slender but athletic man, balding, unassuming looking, slowly giving you the golf clap. It is Archibald of Archibald's Flying Circus. And the last time you saw him, he and his circus, which you had temporarily joined, had tried to assassinate the princess.
Right.
And you had, along with the help of the monk Taka, defeated them. But Archibald had actually, most unexpectedly, grown wings and flown away. And that was the last time that you saw him.
Right.
And he is giving you this slow clap, and he says, "Well, now, me boy, that's got to take a little bit of getting used to."
I'll take a defensive stance.
All right. Not unreasonable. And he sees you, and he kind of tilts his head a little bit, and he holds up his hands in a non-threatening gesture, and he says, Peace, peace, my boy. Oh, I want you to know that you're in no danger from me for now. And
What?
there is a hint of incredible danger from that last sentence.
Yeah. Why?
Uh,
Because I'm not a princess.
oh, you wound me, my boy. That was the biggest score of me life, and you cost me that along with my entire circus. But we are on hallowed ground here. We are in the temple of Animus, and no fighting whatsoever is allowed save on the scales. And we're not on the scales right now. So,
Temple Animus.
oh, that's right. You got a hit in the noggin.
That's for
And you
sure.
didn't see your wonderful companions actually saved you from imminent death. There was a wee bit too much magic energy coursing through you, and it nearly killed you.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
that's a bad memory.
indeed, indeed. Come on with me. Come on with me again. And he holds out his hand again. You could see he does have a knife at his belt, but it is a normal, not a assassin's knife, just a normal knife someone might have, more than capable of killing you with it. But he does not bear any other weapons or anything like that. And then he gestures for you to come down the hall.
Give me a reason to trust you.
Well, now that is a good question. How about I have someone else here who you can trust? Yes, come on over to Grin. And then steps in the half-orc who tried to kill you. Who tried to kill you when you and Morezi were infiltrating the mining facility.
Oh, yes.
He and his companion tried to kill you at night, and Morezi actually spared his life, and he left. Now, to be fair, you did see him helping the villagers. And when the villagers were being cast over the cliff from the water flow, he was actually helping to help the villagers.
Ah,
To Grin was.
okay.
And he was actually traveling with you and the others when y'all were making your way to the village of Palm Grove. But you didn't actually know whether or not you got there because you got knocked in the head by a chulithid.
Right.
And he says, "Oh, it's quite all right. It's quite all right. Everything is fine, Penton. You could come with us."
Oh,
So the two
okay.
different people who have tried to kill you are now asking you to come down the hall.
That's making me feel a lot better. I'll follow you. I don't know where I'm going anyway.
We don't have far to go. We need you to meet the master.
Sure, yeah, lead the way.
Yes, and you can't help but think in your back of your head, the last time you heard someone called the master, it was a bugbear who was being possessed by whatever the big bad is, who tried to snap your spine in half to get the rod, but was unable to.
Right, back in the day.
hopefully this is a different master, and they take you through it's actually fairly extensive. This is a series of cells, which you would think of a monastery with very, very simple places, all exactly the same. And they lead you out, and when you come out, you find yourself, you're standing on a raised area, like where it's going into a mountain. All around you is clouds. There are clouds everywhere, yet somehow the sun still seems to get in. Clearly, this is some form of magic. And more importantly, what immediately catches your eye is, one, very quickly you see a village down below, but you also see a series of at least a dozen giant scales, like the kind you would weigh for measuring.
Okay.
And they are some of them are interconnected. They're dozens of feet up in the air, and they immediately catch your eye because they're by far the most arresting thing you see here. There is also a slightly larger area that looks sort of like a temple that is off to the corner.
Makes sense.
And where this area breaks to the scales, there's kind of like a platform, and there you see a lizard folk female sitting and meditating cross-legged.
One of those pale lizard folk or a regular one?
Very good question. This is one of the regular lizard folk, the kind that the Aarakocra are currently at war with and had asked for assistance from the king of Hyboria.
Right.
But this lizard folk is sitting cross-legged and meditating. And they are both gesturing for you to go towards her.
All right. I'll walk by them and accidentally bonk both of them with my tail as I walk by.
Give me a quick dexterity roll.
Sure. Another 10.
Another 10. Okay. I think you lightly kind of smack one of them, but it doesn't really do much, and it doesn't hit you in the face, but it like kind of come around and slaps into the side of your leg. It's not as cool as you wanted it to be.
Dang.
You're still kind of getting used to this whole tail thing. You do think that it is not quite prehensile, but there's a lot more going on to it than you think.
Right. I'm going to kind of like grab it and like drape it over my arm so I don't accidentally break anything.
Okay. Yeah, it's long enough to do that. It is probably about 5 feet long. It's very long.
Interesting.
And so you definitely can do that, and you make your way. And as you approach, she does not say anything at first, and then her eyes just very slowly open, and she rises to a standing position, and you can tell that she's old. And in fact, you can tell that she's older than she looks. And without even asking, looking, you can just tell, mainly from the time you spent with Taka, this is 100% a monk. The way she holds herself, the way she moves. And she makes a very slight bow to you and says, "Greetings, Penton Chalice. I am Raja. And I am the master of this place, the Temple of Animus, and I welcome you."
I'm gonna turn on my my charisma glow. You know, it's the soft glow of a nice guy, and let's give a slight bow and say, well met, madam, master. Pray tell, how did I end up here?
You were knocked unconscious during the fight with the dark creature, and the energies that were coursing through your body sent directly from the great god Bahamut. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Woohoo! I did it. Through the great god, nearly killed you. It was far too much for your frail frame to handle, and only from the intervention of your friends, and by channeling that excess energy through, and she gestures behind her, the scales, was your life able to be saved. But at the moment, you are trapped in a transitional stage, neither your original form nor that of a dragonborn, and that is not tenable.
I would
agree. It is stable. It is stable for the moment, but if nothing is done, it will eventually destabilize and kill you.
So being here is the only thing that's keeping me from being ripped apart and from the inside out, is what you're saying.
Say rather that being here has allowed for a temporary measure to take place. Now, there are two options. One, you can stay here with me for several years, and through a proper application of chi, training, and bleeding off of the energies of the scales, it is possible that we can save your life. Or, as I suspect you would hope there is an or, you can immediately, without fail, apply yourself to a task that takes your mind off your stage and allow your natural attributes to come to bear. If you do this thing, it is likely that your body will stabilize, and you may even find yourself more powerful than you have been before. It is also possible, if you cannot stop obsessing about your current form, that it will kill you.
All right, so what you're saying is I need to separate myself from myself, rise above, let my body do what it's doing, and then come back to it.
Precisely. And she is. That's not a sarcasm. She's very pleased with you. That is perfect. Now, as it happens, I am the master of the Temple of Animus. I, in fact, take care to ensure that the people of Palm Grove are safe, but I cannot leave this place. I am bound to it. And so what I do is I take in young acolytes and I teach them the ways of the Animus, the ways of transition. And then I send them out into the world, and once every 5 years they must return to me and bring spoils from their adventures. This helps to support the good people of Palm Grove, myself, and occasionally they bring a new recruit with them, such as Tigrin here. And Tigrin is just beside himself, and he bows and he says, I will not fail you, master. And in fact, one of my graduates is also here. And she gestures to Archibald, and he
Really?
bows. Oh, yes. He just came back, by incredible coincidence, just came back from his 5-year sojourn and brought me several fascinating trinkets.
Oh, did he tell you how he got them?
Oh, he did not mention that.
Oh, isn't that interesting, Archibald?
And
I can glance over my shoulder.
He glowers at you and just kind of shakes his head slightly. And she says, now, what I propose is this. We have a simple matter nearby, that there are a small band of kobolds who have entrenched themselves in an abandoned mine nearby in one of the many crevasses that frequent the Pentaplanes. What I would say is that the 3 of you go and clear out this little band, and in doing so, you will help to focus your energy, and I believe this will give you that little push forward that will help you to stabilize.
Dubious, but okay.
Wonderful, splendid, and wonderful. You should make your preparations. I'm going to take a tremendous guess that you do not need much, do you?
No, I don't. I'm basically ready now.
Ah, fantastic. Now, I would say one thing. I recommend that you leave your remarkable device. You call it, what is it called? Audrey? Is that it?
Oh, the hut.
Yes.
Oh, it's here.
Yes. It is here. It came with your friends. They are down below in the village. The thing is, my temple, as long with the people of Palm Grove, are hidden by the clouds you see, but it is not impenetrable. If someone were to simply walk through them, it would not stop them from finding their way. The clouds will try to keep people out, but it is not an actual wall, if you might say.
Just an obscurance.
Precisely, to keep us from prying eyes. And so that is why I would like all of you to go and to rid us of these kobolds. Will you do so?
It seems simple enough. Wouldn't mind, eliminate an infestation to protect some townspeople. It's kind of what I do.
Well, I think you will do a fantastic job. If I may give you one small piece of advice. Look before you leave.
All right.
Very good. If you would all make your way, I will make sure that Mubare, and you remember Mubare was the leader of the villagers, the shaman who led the villagers when you all regained your human shape.
Yes.
He says, I will make sure that he allows you exit through the clouds.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Best of luck to you all.
I think we're going to need it.
And so Penton makes his way down with 2 people who have both tried to kill him in the past. And you are making your way out. Mubari has these very interesting-looking bracelets. There's like a series of them. And his arms seem to do unusual things. And he bangs the bracelets together, and then he slams his palm onto the ground just at the edge of the clouds. And the clouds part. And like the Red Sea, just open a passage which you can walk through.
All right.
And you make your way out, and you find yourself in the Pinta Plains, exactly where you had seen yourself before. Of course, not exactly. And Tigrin is very excited, and he goes, "Oh, can you believe it, Penton? She's going to take me on as a pupil. I'm going to learn from one of the greatest martial artists in the world."
Well, I'm excited for you. I mean, it seems like you really are interested in turning over a new leaf.
Oh, yes. Well, you know, I was not in a great place. The mining facility really encouraged taking out the competition, and I regret my actions, and I have had time to be sorry. He's having a little trouble saying sorry. He is a half-orc after all.
Sure.
But he says, I'm looking forward to working with you on this. And Archibald cuts in and goes, "Oh yes, I'm looking forward to working with both of you as well. This is going to be ever so much fun, won't it?"
Yes.
And y'all walk for several miles, and soon you find yourself coming across not unlike what you had seen before. When you came up to the abandoned Colosseum where so much craziness was going on with the rain, there is a crevasse that just dives straight down for 200 feet or more. And you can see that this particular crevasse actually widens out slightly. And down at the bottom, you can actually see quite plainly there is a entrance. And you can see a couple of guards, perhaps at the entrance, that are likely kobolds, though it is kind of far away.
Right.
And y'all can also see various ropes and such that would give you entrance down the way. The only problem is you don't know if you'll be spotted or not going down.
One would imagine that's probably one of the main places they'd be looking, is the access points.
Yes. You would imagine they would be giving it. Kobolds are not famous for being excellent guards, but they probably would see you coming down unless you were able to figure out some other way of either getting down or of distracting.
Well, gentlemen, do you have any insight? You've been here for a while.
Well, now I don't want to brag, but as part of my training at the Temple of Animus, I have gained a transitional form, you might say. And you never really noticed it before, but Archibald, his thin, lean body, you almost thought of him as kind of rat-like. But now you think almost bird-like. Like his kind of extended Roman nose is almost hooked like a beak. And there's a certain beadiness to his eyes and a sharpness to them that speaks to a bird-like frame. And he says, "Well, something I could do is fly over the guards and perhaps drop something to get their attention while y'all make your way down, and then I could circle back and come down behind you and allow y'all time. The only thing is you'd have to hurry going down those ropes, and it'd be a little dangerous for you."
Speaking of which, I reach out and try to sense if my bird is nearby.
She absolutely is, and you hear "rah, rah" off in the distance the second you reach out. She was never far away, and empathically you hear the concern coming from Aphil, because she could tell that you were injured and perhaps even dying. And she is reassured to feel your empathetic link reestablished.
Okay, I want to definitely call her to me.
Okay. And as before, after your transformation, she is not a crane, so you cannot speak her language, but you're catching little bits of her caws that are actually you can understand. And you think that is because you were turned into a bird. It has not faded away, and it's not good. It's like someone who just knows enough to ask like how to use the bathroom in another language.
Right.
But you're hearing little things like "You okay?" and "Doing all right," that kind of thing.
Excellent. Yeah. I'll just kind of tell her to just, to land on my shoulder for now, and maybe I can use her as part of the distraction or something if it's not too dangerous.
Okay.
But, well, I suppose it's worth a shot. How far down did you say this was? About 200 feet?
It is 200 feet down. Give
That's
or
a
take.
long way. And
It
I don't
is.
have Featherfall, sadly.
Hmm.
But I suppose it's worth a shot. What do you think, Leaf Turner of a half orc?
Well, I mean, I don't have any other plans. I can't fly, and I don't have any other way to get down the crevasse. So, I mean, I guess it's as good as any.
Yeah, I'm just kind of worried about this thing I've got going on behind me. Whether it's going to slow me down or not. I'm not really used to it. It's kind of weird.
Well, as someone who is half orc, I can tell you, lean into your strengths. They will serve you well.
Well, if I knew what they were, I would. I'll figure it out. But, well, let's do it.
All right. So Aphil breaks off from your shoulder at your glance, and Archibald gives both of you like a little salute, and then just drops off backwards off the crevasse, and then you see whoom, with big whitish wings, not like a bat or anything, but bird wings, flies up, grabs a few medium-sized stones, not too big, and begins making his way towards over the guards. And I would like you to make a roll and let
Okay.
me know what your best roll would be for that.
Okay. 17?
17. Okay. And you start climbing. Oh, I forgot to roll to grin. Okay. You start to make your way down, and you find that the tail is actually helping. You were afraid like it was going to be like having dead weight on you as you made your way down, but it's not like that it's grabbing hold of the extra, ropes or anything, but it's just balance. You just feel better balance than you ever have before.
Hmm.
And you find that you're making your way down much more easily than you would, and faster than you would expect. At one point, Tigrin slips a little bit. He's above you, and he comes rattling down, and I'd like you to make a reflex saving throw.
To try and grab him. About another 17.
Oh, very good, very good. You this time your tail actually pushes against the wall and steadies you, and your hand just kind of shoots up, and you catch hold of his boot as it's starting to slide, and he never actually completes the slide. Like he's starting to slide down the rope, and you hear this like, "Thank you." Like he was there. There was a moment where he was like, "I think I'm gonna die," is in his voice. So y'all are able to keep making your way down. Unfortunately, Archibald rolled a 4, so he does not successfully strike the kobolds. However, he does successfully drop rocks in front of them.
Right.
And as they look up to see what's going on, Aphil, however, rolled a 15, and she successfully comes down and rah! And claws one of the kobolds, which entirely distracts them as they are trying to. And fortunately, one of them manages to hit her.
Oh.
And actually does 4 points of damage. Do you happen to have how many hit points
I am
Aphil has?
checking right now. Well, right now she's got 12.
Okay, so that's a really good hit for her, and
Yes.
it sends her spiraling back, but she doesn't lose flight, and she's able to off. But she is hurt, and you feel it. You feel it through your empathic link with her. And y'all make your way down. I'd like you to give me just one more athletic roll as you make your way down.
Okay. 12 is the number?
Yes. So you actually get a +4 to that.
Right.
Making that to 16. So you still successfully, even though you're a little more slidey this time, perhaps that from Aphil, you feel it. But you still make your way down successfully. And perhaps being more cowed after his slip, Tigrin rolls a 19. And it's just a little more cautious coming down. But y'all both make your way down, skipping past the rest of that. I only wanted y'all to make 2 rolls to get down.
Okay.
So you've successfully made your way down. Even though these are really fairly straight up and down canyons, they're not. They were created, hundreds and more likely thousands of years ago. So it's not like you can kind of hide behind crevices and that kind of thing.
Okay.
But as you get closer, it's going to get more and more tricky.
Right, because it's a big open space down there.
Exactly. It is also highly shadowed down here as well. The sun is blocked out, but it's not dark. It's just darker. So is there anything else that you would like to do to try to sneak forward or to gain the advantage on these two guards who are like, what's going on here? You can hear them shouting at each other.
Okay. Well, how close can I get to them safely without being necessarily noticed?
You can probably get about 50 feet from them safely.
Okay.
Where you're really not too worried. Just because the canyon's too big, there's too much. There's wind going through it constantly. Any closer than that, and you will have to make a stealth roll.
Okay, and I feel like stealth might not be the best thing for me right now. Well, I hate to cause a ruckus. Tigrin, do you have anything up your sleeve?
Well, my advantages is that I can run really fast and I can hit really hard. So if you want me to try and charge them and knock them down, I can certainly try and do that.
You know what? That might not be a bad idea. Maybe you could take one and I could take the other.
All right. I'll get the one on the left.
I'll get the one on the other left.
He laughs at that. He thinks that's really he like way funnier than it should be. He's like, the older left. That's good. That's good. All right. I would like you. Well, first of all, I'm going to, since he's going to. He pulls out a relatively small for him battle axe that he's actually holding at one hand, and he's got a small buckler at his left hand, and he just charges. Now he doesn't let out a blood curdling scream. Perhaps he's got more sense than that, but it's like and he just runs straight at them. And being a barbarian, he has a higher ground to cover, and he covers it in a single round. And he rolls an 18.
Nice.
And he comes running forward, and he gets the surprise. Unfortunately, he rolls only a 1. So he does 3 points of damage to the kobold guard, catching him by surprise. And it is now your turn. Kobold 2 is actually the one who hit Aphil with a dart. He actually threw a dart at Aphil.
Okay. I'm going to... send some magic missiles their way. I'm going to put 2 on number 2, and then 1 on the first one that Tigrin hit.
Okay.
Right.
Go ahead and give me those rolls, because I know that's an automatic hit.
That's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Ooh, that's not good. That's better. Okay, so it's 7 points to the second one. That's the 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. And then 5 points to the first one.
5 points to the first one. So the first one has now taken 8 points of damage. So you've done 8 and 7 as you just hold out your hand and go forward. And I would like you to make a fortitude saving throw.
Fortitude. All right. Let me
Yes.
look up on my bonuses here. 2. Okay. Ooh, whopping 8.
An upping 8. So you fire out your missiles, and as you do so, pain racks your body.
Oh.
And you feel your left leg just burn like fire. I assume you wear sandals, don't you? Or what do you wear on your feet?
Just yeah, nothing fancy. Just like basic like wrap sandals.
Mm-hmm. So you actually see the feet like burst outward as the dragon claw burst out from your foot. And you sense that it has something to do with the use of your magic.
Yeah, that seems evident.
Yes. But it is a successful hit, and both of them are definitely hurt, and it is now time to roll for initiative.
Okay. 14 for Penton.
And Tigrin rolls a 3, yet he still does better than one of the kobolds. And you said you got a 14?
Yes.
And so the first thing that happens is the kobold nearest you turns to you, has a long, just really nasty looking spear. Just looks like it just was so cobbled together. You wonder if it actually hit you, if it would fall apart. And levels it and starts to come at you, and then a rock just boom, falls on his head. Just strikes him flat in the head. And highest damage does 10 points of damage, and
I would imagine.
you just see his head just collapse inwards, and he just hits the ground dead. And you see the shadow of Archibald circling downwards. And it's your turn.
All right. I'm going to run forward with my quarterstaff and attack the other one then.
Okay. And I will say that you've been moving forward as this is happening, so you can cover this in a single round.
That'd be a 15 to hit.
15? Okay. That will hit.
All right.
They are wearing leather armor.
All right, and that's 7 points of damage.
7 points of damage. Poor Tigrin, came running forward and did like a glancing blow off this guy, and then your magic missile bursts into him, and then he's coming around, he's getting ready to hit him again, and then you just come up with your quarterstaff and tell me how you kill him with your quarterstaff.
Oh, well, since apparently jumping seems to be my thing now, I'm going to do that. Just jump and just a downward swing right into his head.
Okay. And when you jump, you actually find that you jump not quite twice, but nearly twice as high as you were expecting, which takes you, it's like like almost a roller coaster type feel, but you go with it because you are an experienced combatant and come down and just crack on the side of his head where it meets his neck, and you just hear a satisfying crunch as his windpipe collapses, and he is very dead and collapses to the ground. And combat is over.
Whoa.
And Archibald is landing, and his wings go back into his back.
That looks really handy. Those.
Oh, it is quite handy if you're willing to stay and train with Raja, the master of the Temple of Animus. You never know what form you might gain use of. It's quite handy if you say, I don't know, want to try and make the biggest score of your life, something like that.
Yeah, keep reminding me of that. So, we've taken care of this. Shall we take a look inside?
Oh, I think that's a good idea, my boy. Do you want to go first?
Why not? I mean, I'm certainly the most brutish person here, right? I can take a few swings out of surprise, right?
And hearing that, Tigrin goes, "Oh no, of course, I'll go first. I'll go first. I thought we were waiting for someone stealthy or something. I'll try. I'll try.
I don't think any of us are going to be stealthy enough to really make a difference. So
yeah, and you just did combat outside, and your magic missiles have a sound, and the sound of a stone dropping from the ceiling crashing down. If anyone's right inside, they will have definitely heard you,
right?
Without a doubt. So you, but Tigrin absolutely offers to go first. He's got his axe out, and he's looking ready, and you notice that like he's kind of trying to act a little bit like a monk, like moving in a like the way you imagine someone trying to describe what a monk moves like.
Right, kind of like that, kind of stoic but like stealthy and like poised kind of thing.
Yes, yeah. Yes, it is not a good look for him. He is not pulling it off at all. But he like is like somewhere in the back of his head. You think he maybe thinks that Raja is watching. I'm sorry, Raja. It's Raja.
Raja.
Not the tiger from Aladdin. It is Raja. As he makes his way in, and he kind of pokes his head back out, and he goes, "It's all clear right here."
Okay, let's see what we've got. Does anybody have trouble seeing in the dark?
No, I can see all right, as it were. And Tigrin goes, "Oh no, it's fine. I'm half orc."
All right, let's go.
Okay. You make your way in, and let me just roll something real quick. And as you make your way in, what you see is the entrance to a mine. It is abandoned in that it is not an active mine. There is equipment strewn about in about a 30-foot by 30-foot room. You can see about 3 different branching out entranceways leading out to the mine proper. You can definitely tell that one is heading upwards, and one is heading downwards, and one is heading straight ahead. And you actually hear of a pebble fall, as if someone who is trying to be stealthy did not do such a good job.
From which way?
You give me a check. That would be. I always want to say perception, but that is not correct. I'm thinking 5e.
Yeah. Oh, I'm dropping things. Help! Oh, spot and listen.
And listen, yes, either one of those will work.
Oh, gritty. Those are two of my worst skills. 8 with my minus.
8. All right. You know that you heard it. You know that you heard it. Somebody screwed up, but you cannot tell from where it's coming.
All right, par for the course for me. All right. Best guess which way? Left, right, center?
Well, in my experience, the interesting treasure is always further down, but generally, a lot of times the person in charge is higher up.
Well, that may not be true for kobolds, though. They tend to burrow.
A good point. I take your leave. I have little experience with the beasties.
I guess down as it is then.
And so y'all make your way towards the one that is going down, and the path itself is fairly unremarkable. I would like you to give me one more spot check.
Oof. It's a 10 this time.
A 10? Okay. One other thing. What is the correct skill for judging someone else's motives? That is...
sense motive, I believe it would be.
I believe that is the name of it, yes. I would like you to roll your sense motive.
I got a 13 on that.
13. Okay. Just a quick question there. So, Tigrin is coming forward first. He's got his axe out at the ready, and you hear a twing, like the sound of a tripwire being sprung. And I would like you to make a reflex saving throw.
All right. That's a 17.
17. Very good. So, Tigrin, as you have seen, Merezi has danger sense.
Mm-hmm.
He cannot be surprised. And he immediately lifts up his bracer, and a volley of arrows go flying right at you.
Oh.
And I would like to tell me how you either get out of the way or deflect these arrows.
I'm going to say I'm going to jump over them.
Okay.
With my newfound jumpy times.
Yeah. You
kind of like a forward flip kind of thing.
And you actually do a flip, which is not normal for you, but the tail gives you the balance, and it rolls you forward, and you land. You land steadily. You see the arrows going past, and in fact, one of the reasons that the arrows didn't hit you is that one of them caught Archibald square in the thigh.
Ooh.
He takes 6 points of damage. And he crumples to the ground, like grunting in pain, and is doing soft but continuous swears as the arrow is sticking out of him. After a moment, it becomes likely that it is not poisoned, and he says, "Oh, that's just grand. That's just bloody grand. Well, I guess y'all'll just have to go without me." And that's when you hear a voice behind you saying, "Or I could take that out if you want."
Turn suddenly to see who it is.
Okay. You turn suddenly, and you see a half-elf. You see a half-elf with her arrow knocked and drawn in a bow and arrow. She is dressed in the garb of a ranger, which you, having spent the past year or so with a ranger, you are very familiar with. She is clearly the one that has been sneaking up on y'all, and she has it beaded on you, actually, because to be honest, you look more dangerous.
I drawn some notice, yeah.
Yeah. She knows what a half-orc barbarian is going to do. It's going to swing its axe and chop, but she doesn't know what you're going to do, and so she has it actually on you, and she says, "If you like, I could take that out for you and heal you up a bit."
Well, you're the one with the arrow pointed at us. I guess you're making the decisions right now.
Well, I've just got it out as a precaution. I knew that your friend, and she gestures over at Degrin, might come running at me, and I wanted to delay that till I could explain myself.
I appreciate that.
My name is Asa. Pleased to meet you.
Pleasure.
I need your help. I need your help to kill my brother. And that's where we'll end. Chafing Armor 77. Tune in for the exciting conclusion of the solo adventure of Penton and his rather interesting Talio form.
Yeah. Oof.
Sometime I need to tell in full the story of Talio, one of my favorite ghost stories to tell, but not quite appropriate here. So James, did you know that there are just so many different ways that you can listen to Chafing Armor?
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Gosh, I know there's a way through the main website, and I think we've got a YouTube upload, and
absolutely
something about Apple. I'm not an Apple guy, so I really don't do the Apple thing, but I'm pretty sure there's like an iTunes thing that has that available as well.
iTunes, as well as Google Play and several others. If you put us in your podcatcher of choice, there's a good chance that if you just put in Chafing Armor, it will come up.
I have a podcatcher hanging over my bed.
Oh, I wonder why you never have nightmares. Catches the worst ones and only lets the good ones through.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining in on this solo adventure, James.
Absolutely.
And we will follow it up with 78 to conclude it. And everyone, we will roll with you